Welcome to the Real Conversations podcast, the podcast dedicated to real stories from successful real estate professionals with your host, Dan Edwards.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Real Conversations podcast. I'm here with Erin Bee Thompson of the B. Murphy team. Erin is one of our top agents here at Keller Williams Bothell, and I thought I would sit down and chat with her about her journey to real estate and in real estate. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. I love the spontaneity.
It was very short notice and not prepared at all, which I love because this creates a nice organic space. So let's start with the beginning. I want you to go back to your childhood and I want you to tell me about your fondest memory in the home you grew up in.
Oh, fondest memory of the home I grew up in. I had an awesome mom who did all kinds of projects. We'd have science Saturday and do all the things. One of my fondest projects or memories, I should say, in my home was a Halloween party. We made a whole obstacle course, crawled through it, pie in the face. We put our hands in the things that you can't tell. And it's like brain and guts and blood. And we always had
like the spaghetti is the brain.
Totally,
right? Yeah.
totally. And we had a guy named Mr. Gruesome who was old pants and shirts stuffed with straw and like newspaper, like a scarecrow. And he had a mask and a snake woven through the eyes and the mouth.
Cool.
And every Halloween we'd whip out Mr. Gruesome and put him on the front porch.
That's awesome. So you probably invited all the neighborhood kids to come and go through this?
Oh, yeah. My mom was the fun mom, for
That's
sure.
Awesome. So where'd you grow up at?
Woodinville, suburbs, back when it was Cowtown, Woodinville.
Cowtown?
Before Target, no movie theaters. It was horse country.
Okay. I think I've heard that before, but I knew Issaquah was like also that, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even incorporated until we moved there. It was a township, if you're wondering.
Yeah.
Not a city.
Not this bougie wine.
No, this is pre Chateau had been there, Saint Michel, but it was before the wine boom. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Back in the day. Not that you're that old. That doesn't matter.
But for reals.
For
Yeah.
reals. Okay. So where'd you go to school?
I went through the public system in Woodinville, Bear Creek, Leota, where my daughter just started middle school yesterday. So that's a blast from the past.
That's crazy.
And then I pivoted to private high school, Holy Names Academy, and I commuted from Woodinville to Capitol Hill for 4 years to get an awesome education.
Yeah, awesome education there. So after that, where did your path go?
And then on to University of Washington, where I got a bachelor's in arts in business administration.
That was in the 90s?
I got my degree in 2005.
2005. Okay. So
yeah,
next decade after.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. So 2005. So you graduate from college and what was your degree again?
Business.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what was next?
Yes. So,
is that Foster School of Business?
Correct.
Okay,
correct. So, I like to tell a story. When my mom asked me when I was 5 years old what I wanted to be when I grow up, I told her a bank teller because it was really exciting. Go to the bank, have the tubes that slide through.
They got money.
Totally. And she's like, okay, you want to be a bank teller? And I was like, yeah, Mom, I like people and I like money. So fast forward, when I'm at the University of Washington getting my business degree, I worked full-time in the summers and part-time in the school year as a real estate appraiser because that is what my dad does. I'm the youngest of 3 kids, and I started out as like the copy girl, or I'd reconcile checks. And then that progressed into full-time apprentice when I was an adult. So I liked the trade. I like numbers. I'm math oriented, but I like people. And when I graduated college, I had a branch in the road. I could do the family business like some of my siblings had, or I could do my own thing, and I could always fall back to that. And it is a lone wolf business.
What is?
Being an appraiser.
You
gotcha. Are solo.
No people.
All you're doing is maybe calling to confirm a fact or confirm access. You're by yourself. You do get to go out in the field, and there's a lot of analysis. So there's some freedom. But to me, it was just way too isolating. So I got a job right after college through networking immediately at a real estate company for a development company in finance. So I got to marry my knowledge and interest in real estate with my acumen for finance.
Awesome. So this is 2005-ish.
Yep. Okay, right off the bat.
And so you go in, you take that finance, skill set plus the appraisal. What did you do?
So great question. My boss came from GE Capital, super young and knowledgeable and a great mentor. And my job, I was kind of like a we were a third party, like an external company, but we were like a finance department. So we secured their acquisition, development, and construction loans for this development company. We also had a sister company that did home building, and we would broker and source financing for outside parties. We were really good at borrowing money. My mentor was my boss. So we would place over 250 million per year in loans. So I had to learn
To who?
So for this company, so this development company would go and build 2,000 lots in Idaho. Mainly we were Washington based, but we did an expansion and gobbled up all of this land out of state. And so some of it was hard money loans, some of it was traditional financing. So what that meant for me is I had to go and interview the head of acquisitions or entitlement department, the head of the development department, and pick their brain about where we at for this particular project and the permitting. Get all the reports and documents, write an executive summary, get the numbers from the finance department of the profitability, and prepare the bank budget, quote unquote, which is line items. So I got to learn the land side, and then I got to learn the vertical home building side. So like foundation, framing, rough and plumbing, rough and electrical, and work your way.
All the finances.
Yeah, but just from a top line item level, but I
Okay.
got a scale of what things cost, just at the sequencing. I learned, again, the land side. So what is SEPA approval? What's a wetland report, right? Are you at preliminary plat approval, finished lots? So then I would have to prepare the project package. Literally, it was a binder at one point in time, categorized,
actual
organized.
physical
Yes,
binder.
yes.
Yeah.
And I would write the executive summary and then make sure we got all the reports and roll it all up and pitch it. And then the credit package, which obviously I'm not preparing it, but when we had outside clients, a profit and loss, a balance sheet, a lot of these builders use their checkbook off their dashboard and didn't have these numbers all organized. So do you own a car? What's your loan? Like get a balance sheet,
Right.
a personal financial statement.
Okay. So you're helping, this company is helping finance these
their
purchases,
own loan. Yes.
these developments.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep.
Now we know what happened in 2008.
Yes.
It was the Great Recession, as it's known.
Yes.
So how'd that go?
Super fun. No, it didn't. I was like the 45th person hired, and we grew to over 120 people in a span of a couple of years. We were a force to be reckoned with, and we got projects done faster than anybody else. In that fourth quarter of 2008, we had every transaction fall through, and I think there was like 12 to 14 massive contracts. It could be 100 lots, per contract, or large sales.
So we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes.
Gone.
Yes. The rug got pulled out, not a drop of revenue, 130 employees. And that was the end of the road. Everybody walked from their earnest money, whether it was a national home builder buying finished lots or entitled lots, paper lots, no more revenue. And so from that point on, there was rounds of layoffs. And then you can't just put your head in the sand. It's a big organization. We were over levered. So we did not. So if a lot's worth $100,000 a lot and you borrowed 99 grand and the value slipped to 95, you don't have money in your piggy bank to cut a check
for the difference.
Yeah. And it's a falling sword and you're chasing it down and with no revenue. I mean, you couldn't give it away for free at that point. So that was the problem.
Okay. So put me in the mindset of a young professional that's been now working for 3 years in that job. You're killing it. How do you reset?
Right.
Mentally?
Absolutely. Well, so I've always been a hard worker and just really resourceful, quick learner, and a jack of all trades. So while the execs were like the first to go, who had a way stronger, more robust skill set than I did, their expense was really high, right? Their salaries.
Yeah.
So part of it was luck. I wasn't a big price tag to keep around, but I worked hard and I could do a lot of different things. So they kept me on. So
you made yourself useful in a wider bandwidth of things with a lower salary, obviously, compared to executives.
Yeah, I'm a couple years out of college and I get saved down to like the less than 20 person crew, the shell crew. So then what we did is not only were we having to work out the financial situation of the owner of this development company, whether it was deed in lieu foreclosures, working with the banks, figuring out an exit strategy, or you just have to deal with it, right? Then we started a consulting company, and it was like an REO department, but external for banks. So we did it for land. So they would, so we were a consulting company to several large banks, Frontier Bank, Horizon Bank, and Citibank with a Y around here. Those were our 3 big clients. And I got hired on as director of asset disposition. So I was in the crosshairs of, hey, you have this partially constructed single family plat. Your best return on investment is, instead of just like foreclosing and then bulk selling partially built houses that are like rotting in the rain, they're half done, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Preserve the asset and hire a contractor, a builder on a fee basis, flat fee, get them down, and then sell retail rather than sell to an investor who has to have a profit margin and the cost to complete. So we pitched different ways. Some of them we did auction. You know, if it's a massive condo building and it's done, it's like, you got to get rid of them, right? And so the awesome thing is I got to be in the crosshairs of all the new buyers and builders and investors who were waiting for a recession or hadn't gotten beat up, because all the local builders,
the ones that
there was people going through bankruptcy, and then there was like new money from Canada, for example,
right.
funding these new operations,
Yeah,
or that people who hadn't been highly leveraged
that weren't risked,
that were able to fight for another day. There were people to get great deals and pick up these assets. So, and then also I was head of disposition. So my job was to recommend how to sell the asset and who to hire if a party was needed, what auction company, or in this example, what new construction agent. Because we didn't do for these banks traditional REO assets. We're not doing, they foreclose on a mortgage. We're doing commercial banking loans that got taken over that are residential assets.
Gotcha.
Makes sense? So land and houses.
And if I understand, those commercial loans are 5-year terms, right?
Yeah, or less. I mean,
less.
or construction loans are shorter terms for sure.
Okay.
And so I got to have new construction listing teams pitch me, you know, why I should hire them, for example. And so that was awesome, because I'd never sold a home. I did get licensed during this process, but I'm a consultant. I'm not a broker. And then after a couple years of that, our clients got shut down by the FDIC, our banks, because the bank health scorecard. And we knew that, and we were watching for it. And I collected my last paycheck and had brokered three major transactions on the same day. And so my segue into full-time real estate, like my last day of the job, because our consulting company had no more banks, no more clients. They all got shut down.
Wow.
I just got a massive paycheck, knock on wood. And I was able, I joke that I was like jumping from stone to stone through hot lava. My friends had all been laid off. My now husband, who was my boyfriend and fiance, had been laid off. Everybody had been laid off and had to reinvent themselves. There were no jobs in real estate development or finance.
Right. This
None.
is about what, 2010?
Yep. Yeah. Everybody is reinventing themselves, doing something completely different.
So now you had to, but luckily, not luckily, because your skill set brought you. I hate to use that word.
It's okay. Fortunate. I mean,
because you were prepared, because luck is always when opportunity meets preparation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. So then now you're like, okay, I'm going to jump into the residential space with all this knowledge of building.
Yes.
How did you do that?
So I faked it till I made it, but big asterisk.
You also had the skills.
No, I had the resources. So at that point, I had been introduced to Peter Murphy, who's my business partner now of 15 years, as the new construction specialist. So my mentor had said, this is the guy you should tell the banks to hire. He does new construction. He's amazing at it, which he is. I partnered up with him, and I had all of those listing presentations by new construction teams, and I Frankenstein them and picked Peter's brain, and I'm bright, and I made a listing pitch pack, a slide deck, and I pitched these investors who had bought these 3 plats, and I'd never sold a house in my life. And I got 2 of the 3 communities listed with me.
Wow.
With Peter.
Wow. So you basically took what everybody else was pitching to you, did some R&D, rip off and duplicate.
Yeah.
Kind of put them together into your own.
I mean, I had to do budgets. I mean, at that point, we're paying the guy on the corner with the sign that's like, come this way. Woo.
Yeah.
I mean, and we had to have our marketing budget, what we would deliver, our plan, our absorption, our pricing. It was the whole kit and caboodle.
So if somebody is out there saying, man, I'd love to land a client like that, where would they start?
This is the answer no one really wants to hear. Often it starts with land. So it's
like
it's a very unique skill set to sell new construction homes. Okay. You have, back in the day, I mean, I'm an Excel nerd. I'm a math nerd. I would take, if you were to just crank out a CMA, which I hate lazy agents, I'm sorry, but on Zillow or whatnot, you can just drop a bunch of houses and send it to your client and say, here's the CMA without any analysis. Data is data. It doesn't mean anything. How do you interpret that data? I would say, okay, I'd make a massive spreadsheet. I had a friend who's can do financial modeling. He went to Cornell. So again, just find people who are smarter than you and reciprocate from, help them out and they help you out. And I could do these presentations with these bar graphs of like by community, by product, and show our proposed positioning and digest this information, right? So it's not just a smattering of, oh, here's a 3-bedroom. Well, we're talking, I have to sell 20 houses.
Right.
How do I sell 20? What's my absorption rate? What's your profit sensitivity? There's just a much more in-depth analysis needed. And I could present that and analyze that information.
So would you say, because of your experience, you had the system in place to take on 3 builders?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, I was talking about this today. I was reading through the MREA book, and the one thing it says, for your big goals, you have to have big systems and you have to have big habits.
Absolutely.
So that,
or skill up. Yeah. And skills.
So you already had the big system. You went to them saying, I've got this system. I mean,
I would almost lean on it towards my appraisal background. And then again, just that preparation. I'd gone to business school. So I'd done, honestly, the Excel graphing, and like I had the skill set. A lot of people could not maybe or did not have those resources or tools. Because back then I had to build it. There's no, CRMs come in all different systems and can spit out a pretty product. No one's spitting out new construction analysis with bar graphs, right?
Right.
But someone needed to dig into the details to analyze it.
Okay. We've talked a lot about the what and the how, but what's your why?
Oh, that's a good one. So that brings me full circle. So I partnered with Peter, as I mentioned, and I was at a firm that he had been at for like 20 years. I didn't interview around. I was just like, oh, you like it? I'll go there. I'll hang my license there. It was national. I won't name it. The culture wasn't there. I didn't feel motivated or excited. It was just straight brand recognition and no training, most importantly, on how to build a business, let alone how to run it. Fast forward, my boot camp buddies, 2 of them, Laura Lynn Wilbur and Jesse Moore, we'd work out at 6 a.m. They're hardworking, and their success stories of Keller Williams and what their careers had done once they joined here in the culture really opened my eyes and inspired me. And I came to a class and I met Dory Murray, who is the founder of the CADA Bothell office, who was just this bright light. She's a one-in-a-kind spirit, and it was game over. I came to CADA, and to circle back to your question, my big why, at that time, I was young. I was discouraged. I had been doing REO sales. So Peter and I had landed an FDIC account. We had moved up the chain.
Got to the
and so we were order takers. We got 25 listings at a time. But I didn't know what lead generation was. I didn't know that phrase. I didn't know how to find business. I was a secret agent. I didn't tell my friends and family I was in real estate. And we had this existential crisis when the FDIC, after a couple of years run, turned off the faucet of leads. And it was, oh my gosh, what are we going to do, Peter? We have no business. We have no builder account, no FDIC account. We've been selling 25 homes at a time. What are we going to do? And that was a reckoning. That was a very pivotal moment in my whole entire life. And I met Dory, and I had this feeling that I was not living up to my potential. Not only was I like in a low spot and, in a crossroads in my career, but you also just kind of know yourself. And I'm like, I know I have it in me. I need an outlet. I need to be pointed in the right direction and told I'll do the work. I'm bright. What do I need to be doing to succeed in this career in residential real estate? And I met Dory, and she sat me down and she goes, we have a model. You need to read the red book, and here's what we're going to do. And then your big why. What's your big why? And I was like, actually, we've been house hunting for a long time. My husband now and I live in this detached condo I bought a year out of college when I worked at that development company. We're ready to start a family. I'm so picky. I sell boxes that are kind of personality-less, and but I'm still not wealthy yet, but I need to move up home and I really want to make it happen. She goes, well, why don't you build a home? I'm like, because that's expensive and intimidating and hard. And who does that? And she's like, I did it. I'm like, what? You did it? She's like, yeah, I built a home. They told me I couldn't, so I did. So my big why was to build a dream home. And I did it.
That's awesome.
We found an off-market lot through our builder, through Peter, through building networking relationships in Bothell. I grew up in Woodinville, but I'd lived in Lake Stevens for 11 years.
It's Woodinville adjacent.
over through the valley, over the river, and through
Yeah.
the woods. We found our dream lot in Bothell, not in Lake Stevens, no bash, but like closer into my core, especially where land is.
Mhm.
And it's almost an acre. We built our dream home. We have a sport court for pickleball, fire pit,
Awesome
hot tub.
outdoor
Yeah.
entertaining space. Yeah.
And the rest has been history. So my big why now is I check that off the box. I thought vision boards were cheesy. Now I do them every year. You need that big why to show up and do the work that maybe you're not in the mood for, or show up in your best way for your clients. But my big why is life by design. So travel's a family priority for us. We love experiencing new cultures all around the world, not just park it at a beach on a vacation. Hey, that has a place.
Yeah, you gotta have both.
But bring our 11-year-old daughter everywhere with us and invest in real estate, get that passive income going, fast track to retirement, and help our clients do the same thing, build wealth.
You know what I like about that is it's moved, it's changed, right?
Yes.
But I also think it's super powerful to have something so literal. It's like, I want to build my dream house.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And have a garden on my board. It's like pick my own tomatoes and be there for my daughter.
How are the tomatoes this year?
They're actually really good. We just had them for dinner last
Nice.
night in a salad.
Nice.
I like cherry tomatoes. It's easy. She eats them like candy. But having those visual reminders and having that why, and then that work life balance. When I came to KW, I had just found out I was pregnant. We were planning to start a family, and I was like hyperventilating. I'm like, how am I going to work and have a baby? And how am I going to trust and daycare? It's scary. And life fell into place. And Laura Lynn and who was with her, Gail Eshelman, coached me through it. Like it'll all work out, and it did all work out.
So it's funny because I do talk to some people that believe they have to trade one for the other.
Right.
And I think it's just more a matter of not only having that strong why, but then also having support, people that are supporting you and your why.
And boundary setting. Boundary setting. Okay. Yeah. You can't move appointments with your family or yourself. You need to treat those like appointments. Yeah. Obviously, you need to structure your day that if you're showing a lot of buyers, you have that flexibility when they want to see real estate, for example. I built a team so that soon I got a buyer's agent as my first hire, so I didn't show buyers. So I could be home in the evenings with my daughter, and while she's at daycare or eventually school shortly after, I could be in the office doing, again, more servicing builder business, which is banking hours and taking the calls, taking the appointments. And then Jesse Moore, my mentor as well, he was like, Erin, shuffle your listing appointments to Monday through Friday business hours. Yeah. When someone says, well, no, I work. What do you do when you got to go to the dentist? Well, I take an appointment. I take a lunch break. Okay. What time's your lunch? I'll be there. I'll meet you at your coffee shop at your office. And the power of in a friendly but firm and earn people's respect way. And I'll say, hey, you know what? I'd love to show you don't have any hard appointments, but I haven't seen my daughter all day, and this is my time with her. Can we make 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 4 p.m.? Yeah.
Well, people like working with a busy real estate agent.
Absolutely.
You don't need to tell them what the appointment is.
And I say, I work 7 days a week, but I need to save those weekends and evenings for writing your offer or doing that fire drill. But I can't design my life like everything's a fire drill or everything's urgent.
No, you have to actually, like you said, design it by design.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would just be crazy. It'd be mayhem.
Yeah.
Because you do need to show up when something is urgent, and you obviously work to prevent things as best as possible and be proactive.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today. I know you're super busy, and I sprung this on you last minute.
No, it's all good.
I think that was fabulous. So
thank you.
Thanks a bunch. And you guys, if you want to reach out to Erin, you can reach her. What's your website?
BMurphyTeam.com.
Yeah, you can kind of check it out. All right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks.